Hello, I'm Reshma and welcome back to my channel. Here we will be seeing Chaucer. Before going to the topic, if you have not yet subscribed my channel, please subscribe and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the instant notification whenever I upload a new video. Moving into the topic, Age of Chaucer. Age of Chaucer is a very interesting age because when Chaucer was born, England was ruled by King Edward III. Then it became King Richard II, and when he died, it was King Henry IV. So Chaucer was lucky enough to live under the reign of three different kings. Thus, he was able to experience three different England. During the reign of King Edward III, what happened is England was growing in glory. French war came up and England won against France. They also invaded many nations and captured many foreign countries. Thus, they were becoming more powerful. And people of England were also growing up in the spirit of nationalism. Every man dreamed to become a brave knight. They started loving country and they wanted to fight for the nation. So as this patriotism was emerging, trade also expanded and money started pouring in into the hands of commercial class peoples. Rich people like kings, nobles were becoming rich and they were living a pompous and luxurious life. But on the other hand, poor people were sunk in misery. It was because of a pestilence, Black Death. During the year 1348 to 49, a pestilence, an epidemic called Black Death came and it killed around one third of England's population. It didn't stop here. It came up again three times. That is in 1360, 1367 and 1370. You can imagine the condition of England now. People became very poor and to worsen this condition, famine came and another plague also attacked England. And to control these laborers, what kings did is they imposed more tyrant rule. They also imposed tax. And the condition of people became so worse that they had to beg now. Many beggars came up in England. They started stealing. Many thieves came up. And England was becoming completely a corrupt land. And when King Richard II came up, England became more bad in condition because he was an unwise ruler and a bad king. People started fighting against him. Many rebellious people like Wat Tyler, Jack Straw, John Ball came up to fight against the taxation. And when King Henry IV came up, England was having a corrupt religious system too. So corruption of church too came up because the religious clergymen had only one motive, that is to heap wealth. They were living a godless life. In such England, a change was needed and there came up many religious movement and all credit goes to John Wycliffe. We should remember his name because John Wycliffe is the one who translated Bible into English for the first time and it is the first only translation that has been done into any other vernacular languages. So the Bible for the first time was translated into English and common people started learning Bible now and he with his pamphlets and through his disciples kept on teaching true message of gospel throughout the England. So a change in religion came. All these changes led to new learning. Earlier, people used to learn only theology, but now people started learning literature, that is about life. They started reading classic literature of Greece and Rome. They also started learning many art, and thus they got acquainted with sense of beauty and they started aiming for a delight in their life. And a secular spirit also emerged among the people. This whole credit goes to two great Italian writers, Petrarch and Boccaccio. It was these men who influenced our English writer and they are the reason for Chaucer's influence too. So Chaucer was mainly influenced because of these Italian writers. Now let's see life of Chaucer. He was born about 1340 in London. His dad was a wine merchant. At the age of 17 itself, he was appointed in court as a messenger for the wife of Duke of Clarence, King Edward III's third son. And then in 1359, he joins English army. He fights in that French war, but French captures him and keep him as a prisoner. But the king ransoms him and bring him back to England. After coming back, he marries and then work as an attendant in king's court. So now he is getting a chance to get involved with high officials and he is getting involved in many diplomatic missions. So for that mission, he is moving to Italy many times and there he is learning Italian culture and he is also learning about Petrarch and Boccaccio. Gradually, he started receiving many royal favors and he became a knight, that is, a soldier in the Shire of Kent. But when King Richard II came up, he had to face the real pinch of poverty. He was now under the evil hands and he suffered a lot, but his life changed when King Henry IV ascended the throne. He started receiving royal pension. With that, at Christmas 1399, he buys a big house on a long lease in Westminster. But he was so unfortunate that he was not able to live in that house for even a 1 year because he dies the very next year and he was buried in Westminster's Abbey, which is now called as Poets' Corner. Next, let's see his works. Chaucer's literary work can be divided into three periods. The first is French period, then Italian period, and then English period. So his first work, The Book of the Duchess, written in 1369, is based on French model. It is a poem written on the death of Blanche, Duchess of Lancaster, that is, the wife of John of Gaunt. Thus, this work belonged to French period. The next work, The House of Fame. This is based on an Italian writer, Dante's The Divine Comedy. It portrays the journey to purgatory, heaven, and hell. Chaucer in this poem uses prime royal stanza. This stanza form was found out by a Scottish king, James I, in his poem King's Square. But it was popularized by Chaucer through this poem. The words like Cupid, Venus, passion, desire, everything came up into literature through these works of Chaucer, and this became the model for all other upcoming writers who wrote about love. The theme of love continued in his next two works, that is Troilus and Cressida and Legend of Good Women. This Troilus and Cressida is a single longest poem which is written based on Boccaccio's Philostrato. This poem also has many elements of Trojan War in it. Then the next poem, The Legend of Good Women, is an unfinished work, but the first English poem to use heroic couplet. So the poem Troilus and Cressida, Legend of Good Women, and House of Fame belong to Italian period. Now comes the English period. Here, Chaucer started writing on his own. He became independent. He stopped imitating or copying the themes from Italian or French writer, and now he started creating his own stories or his own style, that is through Canterbury tale. So Canterbury tale is his masterpiece. The story of Canterbury goes this way. It is taking place in the 14th century England and the 29 pilgrims are about to go to the shrine of St. Thomas the Becket in Canterbury. So all these people are gathering together in Southwark, that is in Tabard Inn, and there is a host, Harry Bailey, and our Chaucer is also present there. So all these 31 members are about to go for a pilgrimage, and at that time, our host, Harry Bailey, proposes an idea to remove the boredom while travel. He asks each pilgrim to say two stories while going to the Canterbury and two on the way back. That is, each pilgrim has to say four tales. So, in the end, in the last day, he himself will be the judge and he will select the best tale, and that person will be treated by all other with a grand supper. And with this plan, they move for a pilgrimage to Canterbury. Chaucer had originally planned 120 tales, but unfortunately, he was able to complete only 24 tales because he died before completing that. And all these tales are known for the characters. So these all story we can understand in a prologue to Canterbury Tale. All these characters belong to different ranks in the society. Bringing together all the ranks of people together in one book shows the excellence of Chaucer, and this prologue is known for these characters. So we must know all the characters here. So I am listing down the characters. The pilgrim who belong to military class were a knight, a squire, a yeoman. Then the pilgrims who belong to ecclesiastical were a prioress, a monk, a nun, a friar, a pardoner, and a summoner. Then the one who belonged to middle class people were a poor parson, a clerk of Oxford, a physician, a lawyer, and other miscellaneous characters like a franklin, a merchant, a shipman, a miller, a cook, a manciple, a reeve, a haberdasher, a carpenter, a weaver, a dyer, a tapir, a ploughman, a manciple, a guilesman, and a well-to-do clothmaker of West named Alison, famously known as wife of Bath. And this is the most important character in this prologue. This prologue is very unique because it pictures the men and manner of England in his time. So Chaucer, through this work, has brought diversity in character, and he has explained various themes through each character. When he's saying a story, the way of his storytelling is completely different. A story will be based on the character. If a knight is saying a story, that story will be based on chivalrous thing or about some war event. Whereas if Reeve, Miller are saying, it will be based on some common life incident about some common people. So this difference made him a genius in literature. Chaucer has just placed a mirror in front of the 14th century England. Through the work, we will come to know the whole 14th century England. He has portrayed many evils that happened in the society, but here he is not correcting anyone but just mocking and teasing them for the way they are. We can't say that the whole Chaucer's Canterbury Tale is of his own. He has borrowed theme from Latin, French, Italian writers, but whatever he borrows, he makes it entirely his own. This is his talent. Thus, he remains our most delightful of storytellers in verse. Now, as a bonus, I will show you a clip from Canterbury Tale.
Lines 1 through 18 of the general prologue to the Canterbury Tales. One that April with his shore sota, the dracht of March had pierced to the rota, and bathed every vein in swish liquor, of which virtue engendered is the floor. One Zephyrus eke with his sweeter breath, inspired hath in every heart and hath. The tender croppies and the younger sona hath in the ram his half a course Hirona. And smaller fools machen melodie, that slepen all the night with open ear. So pricketh hem Natur in her courages, then long in folk taugoon on pilgrimages, and palmeres for to seken strange strondes, tau ferne hallways couth in sundry landes, and specially from every sheer's ende of England tau Canterbury they wende, the holy blissful martyr for tau seke, that hem hath hopen one that there was seke.
I hope you would have enjoyed this video. Keep learning. Until then, signing off from you, Reshma.